Hello, namaste, everyone. Well, if you've ever lived in India and you've lived in especially places like Rishikesh, uh, every year they have Shivaratri, okay? And you will hear that very loud for a day and all night. Okay, Bam Bam Bolinath, Bam Bam Bolinath. Okay, so anyway, it's a celebration of Shiva. Okay, and this is a time where, you know, big celebrations of it, and very special time if you happen to be a Naga community. Okay, when I lived in India and I was in Naga community, okay, you have your different divisions, okay, and within the division I was in when I was a sadhvi, it was, you know, you have brother sister organizations. One, ours was Puri, Giri, Bharti, okay. Puri is one that's in the city. Giri is one that's in the mountains. Bharti, I'm not sure. I don't remember what that was. But they were our brother sister Nagas. Okay, and it's a very special time, Shivaratri, because if you are following that tradition, you are a Shaivite. Okay, you see, I'm wearing the Rudrakshas. Okay, which are special to Shiva. And if you are a Naga, you are living the lifestyle of the Naga, you have a Duni. You have your fire. Okay, here I happen to have a candle that's lit, but there you have your Duni, your fire pit, which is supposed to burn 24/7. It represents Shiva. It represents your path. It represents your walk. You know, that you are to become merged in Shiva. Okay, you wear the ash. The ash is a covering. It's a tapas. They call it a tapasya, but the ash also keeps them warm when you are living outside, because you're not in a home, you're in a hut. Okay, you're living outside. You bathe in the Ganges in the morning, and let me tell you, that water is ice cold, especially if you're in Rishikesh, because it's coming from the mountain waters that are melting up in the Himalayas. So it's very cold when you get out in the morning and you do your ceremonies, the things that you need to do in the morning. And there are specific things that you do. You have to dip in the Ganges at least 3 times, minimum of 3 times. There are, again, specific things you do. You have mantras that you say in the morning that you count. There are different things when you go in a temple, you do. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all of the particulars that one does as a sadhu or a sadhvi. Okay, but one thing that you have there at your Duni is they always, you will see a picture of Dattatreya. Now, Dattatreya is, they called the guru of gurus, okay? He gave the first wisdoms. This one is, was left to me, okay? This was, Dattatreya was on the personal Duni of Sundarpuri, and I'll show you Sundarpuri. Here's Sundarpuri. People that know him know he was no bullshit sadhu. Okay, Sundarpuri was one of a kind. Okay, so that's Sundarpuri. He passed very young. He's on the other side now, still in his drug haze. The day before he passed, I told him, please do not do charas. Please do not smoke it today. His response is, Baba, life big smoking. So other sadhus came for the day, and they sat down and they filled it straight charas, not even just marijuana. They straight hashish. Charas is hashish. straight hashish, covered it up with the tinfoil. So it was extremely strong, and he had a heart attack. Okay, he left his form right in the middle, crossing the bridge of the Ganges. He left his form right in the middle. When we got right to the middle of the Ganges, he left his form. And as he left his form, I just kept telling him, it's all Brahman, it's only Brahman, you're only Brahman, everything is Brahman, to try to get him to, you know. We checked with him on the other side, and he says, yes, those words are very high words. It's very high. But unfortunately, he's still in, after all these years, this was in, he passed in, was it 99 or 2000, in October. I just remember, it's in October. And we did the usual things. I sat up with his body. Somebody has to sit with the body, so I did that for him. I sat with the body and meditated with him. You sit the body up. Somewhere I may have the pictures of that, where you take the body out and you wash it with milk, and you wash it with curds, and you wash it with Ganges water, and you cover with ash. Okay. And yeah, you prepare the body. You sit with the body overnight and meditate with them to help them on their way. You have to keep a light lit for 7 days after they pass. This is something you do for their spirit. Okay, all of that I did for Sundarpuri. Okay. And if you are a Puri, you wear 3 Rudrakshas. If you're a Giri, you wear 1. If you're a Bharti, you wear 2. So you can tell which one of the Nagas, which one of the divisionary places they wear, by how many Rudrakshas they wear. And so when I was there, you know, I had the Rudrakshas, and he was very adamant. And this is a funny story for those who don't know. He was like my protector there. He always watched over me, and he wanted me to go teach. He knew that there was something very elevated. And so he wanted me to go with him to teach up in the Himalayas. Unfortunately, he passed before that. And he wanted me to take, he was adamant that I would take sannyas. Okay. So I had to go do some things for my guru to Lucknow. And I left and went to Lucknow, and I left my clothing. I was wearing all white at the time. I left my clothing there for him to watch over it, you know. And I went to Lucknow to take care of things for my guru. When I was there was when I stayed at my guru's place. He was off somewhere else to do something. I stayed in his place. And that's when the contemplation of self came to me while I was staying there, working for my guru. The practice of the contemplation of self came during that time. It was a very special time, you know, for life. I was there, and the contemplation of self came. Okay. Now, when I went back to Rishikesh, Sundarpuri had taken all of my clothes and dyed them sannyasi orange. Troublemaker. So he had taken all of my clothes and dyed them sannyasi orange and said, you are going to be a sadhvi. That's it. You are taking it at the next big Kumbh Mela. Okay. Oh, the Kumbh Mela that year was so ice cold. It was in January at the Prayag, where the 3 rivers come together. Okay, that's in the south, but it is so cold that year. Oh my God, it was really cold. Anyway, but he had passed by then. But I did wind up taking sannyas. And the one that had done the sannyas ceremony, those that know, was the personal pujari of the Sankacharya of Kanchipuram. He did my ceremony. And the one that initiated me into it was a Giri. So I wound up with a very long, complicated name because at the ceremony, of course, I had Sundar Puri's photo there. I had my guru's photo there. And then the sannyasi that was ushering me in. This was to fulfill a commitment that I had made to Sundar Puri. Okay? So I went through it. So my full sannyas name is very long. Ganga Puri Kali Udamananda Giri. One more time. Ganga Puri Kali Udamananda Giri. So I wound up with Puri and Giri because in honoring of Sundar Puri, and because of the one that was issuing me in, I wound up with two. Two. Okay. And I continued as a sadhvi for a number of years. But eventually, you know, when one has entered realization, there's no need to hang on to those types of externalized forms, externalized play. One has already entered into that divine is, okay? So all the rest of that stuff disintegrates, says, okay? It's great if you're on the path and you need that awareness to continue forward in your path, okay? It keeps you in a direction, keeps you in a focus, again. But when all of that passes and one enters realization, you know, that play is no longer needed, okay? One is in absolute, no matter what takes place, one is in that celibacy of mind, that singular is, okay? Then one has already burned out all the tapas. Otherwise, one doesn't enter realization, okay? So all of that stuff passes. But anyway, in celebrating Shivaratri, again, you know, what we have here, and this one is from Nepal. It's an actual skull. It's made from actual skulls of a very young child is what they make these from. And to show the impermanence of life. It can go at any time. So they make one side from female, one side from male skulls. Yeah. So again, to show the impermanence of life. Life is fleeting. It comes, it goes. You see that you have the dancing Nataraj, okay, Shiva, as in Nataraj. In the motion, makes the sound, makes expression, makes the universe come into being. When it stops, it stills, it settles. Okay. Anyway, that's something that one can use for meditation practices to contemplate, you know. But in Shivaratri, again, one is just celebrating that path, okay, that awareness, celebrating that it's available. Why? To keep your backbone straight? It's to facilitate movement of Kundalini, to awaken Kundalini. You know, again, Shiva, no matter what Shakti does, Shiva did what? He was in meditation. Shakti wanted a child. She had to scrape her own skin to create Ganesh. Okay? Ganesh lost his head because Shakti was bathing. Shiva came back and he wouldn't let him in to see his wife. So he took a blade and he decapitated her son. And then he would, in remorse, he went and found the first thing he could find, which was an elephant, and put the head onto her son, reanimated him, and he became Ganesh. Okay. So, but I don't know how Ganesh wound up with a, whole elephant's form. But anyway, that's the story of what happened with it. And Ganesh is honored because Ganesh took his tusk, he broke it, and he wrote the wisdom. Okay, that's why you always see Ganesh with one tusk is broken, because he actually broke his tusk and he used it to write the wisdom. And as you know, you always honor Ganesh before you honor Shiva, because Ganesh opens the way. He breaks down the boundaries. Shakti is the energy, Ganesh breaks down the boundaries, and Shiva is the path. Okay? Make it very simple. It's about the simple. And the path is through meditation, stillness, contemplation. Okay? And it didn't matter how much Shakti would dance and play and try to entice Shiva, he stayed in meditation. Okay? And again, when everything deconstructs, then one becomes Tandava, the dance. One enters the play, becomes Shiva as doing Tandava. Okay? We are doing the dance now and the play of God. Worlds come, worlds go. Okay? And we are still in the dance. One becomes that Shiva. Beyond delusion, beyond delusion. Okay? So that's a bit about it. But again, it's just the celebration of honoring, understanding that's a path to realization. So, Bam Bam Bolinath Alak Niranjan. Om Namo Narayana. That's the sadhu greeting. We don't say namaste. When we see another sadhu or a sadhvi, it's Om Namo Narayana. Okay? That light. Okay? That light. Ode to that light, to that wisdom. Om Namo Narayana. Okay. One just never knows the turns that are going to take place in one's life. Okay. My life has taken many turns. I was one of the first ones indoctrinated into the tradition of the Kali Chakra. Okay. So I'm also entranced into that Kali Chakra wisdom, that path. I was a monk in many lifetimes. Okay. I had remembrances in this lifetime of participating in the Chode ceremonies, which I had no idea. It scared the bejeebers out of me in this lifetime when I started having the awareness and the visions and the going back into that time and understanding what that was. Okay, the Chode ceremony. So my Buddhist name is Karma So Nam Wang Mo, which means one that dedicates all their actions to the good of humanity. Karma So Nam Wang Mo. That's why I have the name Ganga. Is for Ganga, for this sadhvi, Ganga Puri Kali Udamananda Giri. And Karmakar, which is Karma So Nam Wang Mo, karma. And Karmakar also means worker in iron, because iron is sacred to Kali. So that's a breakdown of my name. Okay. The universe puts all this together, What do I know? I just go with the flow. Okay. So that's how I wound up with a name, Karma. Karmakar, Ganga, Karmakar, And it's like a fusion of those two paths, those two modalities. And what's given here is a fusion of the many lifetimes. My Kundalini was awakened, those that know my journey here, while I was in an esoteric Christian order. So I am also very Christian based. For those that say I have something against Christianity, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm actually a licensed minister. So I've had, background in Christian, Buddhist, and Hindu paths. And what's given here is an amalgam of those paths coming together. Very Tantra. Tantra is using all to make your journey to realization. Okay? So I hope this has answered that. Anyway, a simple bottom line, Shivaratri is a celebration of that path, okay, of that wisdom, of that knowledge, and keep the back straight to facilitate Kundalini awakening, okay? Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. Namaste. Have a great day, everyone.